Hi everyone, hope you're well. So we are going to do nested formula. So load the Excel document called nested functions. I have just downloaded it. Downloads, it's over there. And just make sure to enable editing. You can zoom in a bit more so that you can see everything. And check that you have the following on your screen. It seems like we have everything. Enter the following formula, which contains nested functions, into cell C2. Okay, so the formula that you are going to start with is the function if. So the if function, you can just start typing if in capital letters, checks whether a condition is met and returns one value if it's true and another if it's false. So press tab. First we need to do the logical test. So our test is going to be if this is greater and equal to 51. So if this mark that Rachel Liu got is greater and equal to 51, what will the value be? Let's see. I just also want to note some of you might have a comma in there and some of you might have a semicolon. Just make sure whatever one is over there is the one, like from this hint box, just make sure that yours is the same. But you should actually use commas because you have to go set your region settings and your English language over here to United Kingdom. By default, many of your computers would either be English United States, or if they imported it from South Africa, it's going to be English South Africa. So just make sure, because your final exam is going to be using this English keyboard, and that's the standard that we need to have for the exam. So just make sure. I know some people might have some problems over here, so if that happens, go change your region settings, save this, close it, open it again, and then you'll also have to use commas, so it's nice. Anyway, so if this value is greater than equal to 51, then what will the value be if it's true? Sorry, I just want to close this. The value, if it's true, is they will pass. That makes sense. If you get more than 51%, then you pass. Pass. Okay. Now we say, what is the value if it's false? So let's say the person didn't get this. Okay, now we're going to tell it. So since they didn't pass, let's do another test. Let's test if that value is greater than equal to 41. So we type in the if. The logical test now is to see if this value here is greater and equal to 41. So basically at this stage we're saying if it's between 40 and 51, we're testing and seeing what happens if that happens. So we say resist, a reset, probably a reset for a reset in an exam. And else, if they didn't get more than 41, it means they have lower. So the value, if they didn't get more than 41, that means they fail. So I hope that makes sense. Like, it looks like a lot of gibberish when you first see that, but I hope the little explanation helps what we are testing. And if you press enter, we're gonna see if 27 is going to be pass, reset, or fail. So I can see 27 is going to be less than 41, so I definitely know it's not going to be a reset. It's definitely not greater than 51, so our only option is that it's going to fail. And that is exactly what happens. Okay, and then they say copy this formula relatively down the column. Okay, so we're going to copy it relatively, and you do it by looking at that little square there until the cursor makes a cross like that, or a plus, and you just drag that down, and that's going to copy the formula relatively. So this was B2, this is going to be B3, this is going to be B5, you can just keep your eye on there. This one's going to be B9, so it copied it relatively. Okay, cool. And it makes sense. So 10 is fail. Between 40 and 50 is reset. Over 51 is pass. You can even go as far and make it, we don't have to go there, but you can make it as far as if they got greater than 81, then they get a distinction. So you can go play with this if you want to as well. So we can, within this if function, you can also make it go a bit further. So you don't have to do that, but just wanted to say you can do that. And then save your spreadsheet using the file name nested formula. So it is nested functions at this stage. So we're going to save it as nested formula. Make sure that you save this as the workbook over here and go to your documents and save it as nested formula. Just want to make sure if it's a capital F, it's a small letter. So it's a small letter F. Okay, and I've saved it. Okay, so we have this one, and then it is quite hard to construct nested formula correctly. This means that testing is extremely important. You know you have to produce a series of tests that will test the formula being used if that is producing the correct results. You need to check that the border values for each message, and you need to ensure that you use data which will test these. You now have to create a set of marks that will test the spreadsheet. Enter these marks by replacing the marks in the previous spreadsheet and check that each message being produced is correct. So then we need to save this spreadsheet using the file name checking nested formula. So the first thing is you're just going to make your own marks. So we think, okay, 40 we know is going to be fail. And that is exactly what happens. If I type in 50, okay, it should be greater than 51 in order to pass. So if it's 50, it means it's between 41 and 51. So this is going to be reset. And that's exactly what happens. If I make this one 60, that is greater than 51, so it's going to say pass. You get the idea. So you just put in all these values, and before you put the value in, just think, okay, what will the result be? It should be a pass. Try to make it different than what it was. So this is a fail, so let's make it a pass, or let's make it a reset, make it 42. That's a pass, so let's make it a fail, so we put it 20. That's a pass. Let's try a reset this time, so it would be 48. Pass. We can make it fail by 59. Fail. Make it. You get that, yeah. Okay. So you just save that in the end as. Let's make sure what they want us to save it as. Checking nested formula. Just make sure that you spell it correctly there. So checking nested formula. The cool thing about this is you can always see if your formulas are working. So you put in new values, so you get instant feedback if you have done the things correctly or not. And then you just save this, and then you're done with this specific one.